side. We've got some people that are monitoring the Q&A portion or that chat feature, and then we also have a Q&A portion at the end of our announcements. So please submit your questions, and we've got people looking at those and monitoring for them, those questions for us. So we wanted to kick off first with our partnership announcement. Tonight, we are happy to announce a new structure for NECAT, one that we're excited about, and we're hopeful for the new opportunities that will come with it. Metro, NECAT, and the Nashville Public Library have been in discussions about NECAT and the PEG studio operations moving under the umbrella of the library. And we're happy to announce that that is moving forward for 2022. Now, the good news is this partnership shores up and strengthens the PEG studio in NECAT. And a few details that I wanted to mention about it. PEG studio support for the studio has already transitioned over to the library. So hopefully you have seen that seamless transition to that. So that has already happened. Our NECAT operations and administrative items are also transferring over or transitioning over to the library. For example, and I imagine a major question you may have is Cameron. Cameron has already moved over to the library and will continue to do his work and be your point of contact. So really, we wanted to stress some of these things have already taken place, and hopefully you have not seen any of that transition or any difference in that, and that's what we wanted. The NECAT board is still going to be in place. We're committed to community awareness of NECAT and our channels and what we all do, and promoting those efforts, and then also fundraising efforts on behalf of NECAT and the library. Great news on this, the Nashville Public Library universe content will also be on our NECAT channels. We're working on that now. And then also this structure increases access for all of you to a variety of things. So we are really excited about of this transition. Joining us tonight are Kent Oliver and Lee Booley from the Nashville Public Library, and I wanted to invite Kent, turn it over to you and see if you had a few words to say as well.
Well, just a few, and thank you so much, Shauna Lynn. You know, we're really excited about this, and I'll introduce Lee again here in a second. But we are thrilled to be considered as a partner and be in a partnership with NECAT. And, you know, it's already a great community resource. And we think that there's some great opportunities here to offer even a greater platform for community access. The library is already committed to quality programming and that impacts and addresses the diversity of our community and really provides some good access. And you've already mentioned NPL Universe, and I believe Lee will be talking about that in a minute, but that's really what I call our suite of virtual programs that appear online, and some of those have already shown up on NECAT, I believe. And we're also very interested, and we have a presence in social media platforms where we push out our programming. And then, of course, in-house, we have production services, which is where we are actually already doing some production work of our own. But, you know, our vision in working into NECAT is that, you know, ITS and NECAT and their staff will be able to help us expand the quality and production and programming and training opportunities that NECAT already provides. And, you know, we really want to look at how we assimilate the library programming into what is already there, and really even try and take it to a new level, continue the community programming and training that we think is so incredible. We also want to look at what we can do to really highlight what could be uniquely Nashville and Tennessee programs and push them out even beyond the local community, but make them a presence nationally and perhaps internationally. And really looking at, you know, what we can do to help market what's going on here. The library has a significant marketing presence in the community, and we want to apply those resources and really create a marketing opportunity there that can create maybe a larger presence for NECAT within the community. And, you know, I think it's important that we bring in institutions of higher learning in Middle Tennessee and see where we can co-opt their resources and help with some other opportunities there. And certainly last but not least, I think we have an opportunity to maybe provide a sustained funding base for NECAT in the future, since we are a metro department and we have resources there, both financially and certainly with capacity that can move NECAT forward. And that's really all I wanted to throw out there today and talk about. And I wanted to introduce again Lee Booley. She's our Assistant Director for Collections and Technology, and she will be a face that many of the folks associated with NECAT will see on a regular basis. So Lee, let me turn it over to you.
Hello, everyone. As Kent said, I'm Lee Booley, Assistant Director of Collections and Technology at the library, and my division includes production services, which supports the library's audio and video needs. So I think some really great synergies will occur as we collaborate, and I'm looking forward to this partnership. I have a great appreciation for the arts and entertainment, as I'm sure everyone on this call does. And while I consider myself a creative in my hobbies, my career has always had a strong theme of being rooted in technology to provide and improve access to content. So to be able to further merge these worlds is something I can be genuinely enthusiastic about. So as we move through this 6-month transition that we're looking at, Cameron is still in his current position. It's just the reporting structure for him has changed as he reports to me. I don't think your experience will change much, but hopefully we will get to know each other, as you might see my face around the studio some, if Cam will let me. Anyway, we are really excited to bring NECAT into the NPL universe, and I believe that Cameron is now going to show a quick video that shows some of the video work that NPL's production services team does, and also some of the programs at NPL.
Here we go. And we say, Professor, is that you? It's me, all right. Hi. Hello.
Hi. Jensen's here.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just in the middle of this really good movie.
Hola, amigos.
As you can see, we are all looking forward to this partnership between NECAT and the Nashville Public Library. So as we move forward, we'll have more updates and details as this transition takes place in 2022, but we wanted to announce it at this meeting. That way you are aware of it, you're hopefully excited about it, and more to come on that. Our next announcement, I wanted to introduce and welcome Keith Durbin and Kim Sasser-Hayden to give us an update on our franchise audit and renewal.
Hi, everyone. It's really good to be with you this evening. It is ITS staff that is up to now who's been responsible for running the PEG studio, and we will continue to run the government channel, which is the Metro Nashville Network. The last one of these producers meetings I attended were over 10 years ago, and I helped coordinate the creation of NECAT from the old MEAC and CAT boards. And some of you may have been around for that, like Tony Pratt and Jesse Goldberg. ITS, the organization that I run within Metro, has been proud to be part of the cable franchise management feature within Metro since at least 1995. And the cable franchise that Metro government has granted to Comcast allows Comcast to lay their cables and fiber in Metro government's rights of way, whether that is underground or on Metro's poles. And in return, Comcast provides franchise fees to Metro government, which in the year 2020 were almost $7 million. They also provide other things to us. Most pertinent to this group are the 4 cable channels, which, as you know, are arts, education, community access, and government in our environment. Another piece is about $200,000 in funding that must be used for capital improvements like cameras and lightings and other hardware and software types of projects. So as Shauna mentioned, the end of the current franchise with Comcast is coming in 2023. And Metro government will begin working with Comcast on the process of a renegotiation. And as we prepare, we will be reaching out to you for your thoughts on what you think is important about that franchise so that we can bring those thoughts into that negotiation. And I think, as Shauna mentioned, our representative from Comcast is here to talk to you about that as well.
Yeah, thank you, Keith and Shauna Lynn. I'm Kim Sasser-Hayden. I'm the Senior Manager for External Affairs for Comcast in Middle and East Tennessee. So happy to join you all today. As Keith mentioned, we do have a local franchise agreement with Metro Nashville as a cable provider, a video provider. We actually have an opportunity to have either a state franchise or a local franchise. And it's our belief and our what we would really like to do is to continue to negotiate directly with Metro government and to keep the franchise on the local level. I think we might be the only local franchise in terms of cable providers that Metro Nashville has, but certainly that's something, a relationship that we'd like to keep strong and to keep at the local level. So as Keith mentioned, this is a cable television franchise, which is a little bit of a relic of the past in that it just discusses our video rights. So just something to keep in mind as we begin the discussions, but it does include all of the PEG channel, but all of the channels, all the access to the channels, as well as the PEG support that Keith mentioned. So I believe our franchise expires in May of 2023 is the date. So we'd certainly like to get this done beforehand. So we'll be working with Keith and his team and the Metro CATV board, and we'll go before them. And then at some point we'll have to go before the Metro Council. So here in the next probably 2 months or so, Keith and I will get together and come up with a timeline for when we can start to, show some drafts and talk about negotiations. But we do intend to continue PEG support. What that would look like, I'm not 100% sure. It may look a little different than it has in the past, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as Keith mentioned, it is for capital funding only, and that is restricted based on the federal laws and regulations from the FCC. So I think I covered everything, Keith, unless there's anything else we need to mention on the franchise. Great. Well, thank you all, and I look forward to hearing more and learning more about all the great things that the producers are doing.
Thank you, Keith and Kim. We appreciate you both being on the WebEx with us tonight and for all of that information. Again, we will all keep you updated as this project progresses as well. Before I turn it over to John Ferguson and Chris Singleton to present on our equipment updates, I just wanted to take a moment and thank them and the IT staff and the Metro Division for all of their hard work and dedication to the PEG Studio and NECAT. They always work hard. All of the events you see, they're the support behind that. Any creative ideas we come up with, they're our partners and advocates in that. So I just want to especially thank them for the past year of a pandemic and moving parts and everything that they have done. They have always been such professionals and such great supporters of NECAT and PEG and what we're trying to do and in the community. So thank you, John and Chris, for all your work and everybody else at Metro ITS. And with that, I will turn it over to both of you for our equipment update.
Thank you, Shauna Lynn. I appreciate those kind words. We certainly enjoy our role and have had a good time over the years, for sure. And Chris appreciates your support as well. He's here, but he does not have his mic on, so he wanted me to pass it along to you. So my role for this meeting is to kind of talk about some high-level equipment that we purchased and in the process of installing in the PEG studio, some of the capital equipment that we have purchased. So we are in the process of replacing all of the head-end equipment. This is all of our broadcast equipment. We currently work with a company called Tightrope, and we use their cablecast equipment to broadcast all of our channels. We are completely replacing all of the equipment and getting brand new. They have got a shelf life of around 7 years, and we're coming up on the 7-year lifespan. So we have purchased all of the equipment and we'll be replacing it. First phase will start at the end of this month. So this particular equipment upgrade is not going to necessarily affect directly any of the producers, but all of their content will be more securely broadcast based on this upgrade. And so it's going to be a very good thing to do, especially when we're transitioning everything over to the library. So we're very excited about doing all of this upgrade. Next. So we just got done hanging new 4K TVs in the lobby. These three 43-inch TVs are designed to display the 3 NECAT channels right in the lobby. For the longest time, we had the old 1995 tube TVs in the lobby, and so we were due for an upgrade for a long time. I don't think I've gone a single place where I've seen those type of TVs in the last 10 years. So we certainly were on the cutting edge of TVs for a long time, but now we've got upgraded TVs in the lobby. So that'll be great for people who are just learning about NECAT and wanting to learn what we do. As soon as they walk in the building, they're going to see exactly what we do on big, brand new 4K TVs. That'll be exciting. LED lights. So this is an upgrade that is going to be, I think, very, very welcomed from everybody. We have got 4 new moving LED lights with, you could do different colors. You could do 100% dimming, 440 degree pan, 250 degree tilt, very quiet operation. And I'm going to give a quick demo on that stuff here in a second at the end of my presentation. But for right now, we'll go on to the next slide and talk about the new lighting console. So we have a loaner lighting console currently in the studio, but we purchased a brand new lighting console that is going to be able to control all of the LED lights in the studio. We currently have 10, which everybody who has come into the studio in the last few years has already seen. Are the panel lights, 10 panel lights, 5 on each side, 1 on the left, 5 on the left, 5 on the right. This panel, or this console, will control those existing lights in addition to the 4 new LED lights, spotlights that we have in the studio. So I'm going to give a quick demo of that in a second. But first, I'm going to talk about this brand new purchase. We just sent the PO in, a couple days ago. But we're upgrading our news desk. So we're adding a news desk to the studio. This particular news desk was actually discovered and curated by Cameron. He found it. And what's great about it is that it's very, very versatile. You can exchange and change out the tops to different configurations that allow different producers to be able to utilize, whatever works well for their show. You can use a smaller tabletop for a small show, a larger tabletop for a large show, whatever works for you. And one of the best parts about it, it has a slide in and slide out universal monitor mount that allows you to put a TV inside the table right there where it's pictured. That way you can display your logo. If you're doing a show, you can display video from YouTube. Essentially, you could display anything that you can put on a video monitor. So that's going to add a lot of a versatility to people's shows who are coming in. This is something that I think is going to help out a lot of people who are producing shows. New field equipment. So the new field equipment, Cameron has created a laundry list of new field equipment that is going to help and aid Cameron's plan to do a new documentary class. This new field equipment is going to include new 4K cameras, audio recorders, new shotgun microphones, and this will allow members to check out equipment and take it out in the field and use it to produce whatever content they want to produce for their show. So that's going to be very, very exciting as well. And I believe that's my last slide. So
we got a question.
Oh, we have a question. Let's answer this question before we move on. Yeah, what is the question?
It's from Christina Livingston.
Okay.
How soon will we be able to use the new news desk? And does the network have the TV that goes inside the table?
So that's a great question. So like I said, the order was just placed. We had to do some negotiations for shipping, since shipping is very, very expensive currently. But the new news desk should be in, if I had to estimate, probably within the next 2 or 3 months. That news desk will be in, depending on shipping. And once we get it in, you can use it immediately. And it does have, we will install a television inside there. We've got that in our list of equipment that we're going to be ordering. So we are going to be ordering a 43-inch television that we're going to allow producers to put content into. So operation of all this content obviously is going to be integrated into the studio production classes. And so you'll have the ability to, display whatever you want in that TV monitor right there pictured on the slide you're seeing right now. But that's a good question. I would say within the next 2 or 3 months we'll have that news desk in, and we'll be able to roll it out for operation in the studio. Okay, let's move on. We are ready to take a quick tour over to the lighting console that I was talking about earlier. I've got it set up for a quick demo. Our friend, I'm gonna walk over here. Actually, I'm gonna mute this mic, and then I'm gonna. Okay, so let's mute that. Some technical situations here. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys a quick demo on this lighting console that we've got. So this is just a temporary location for this. We're going to put a desk over here and have it so that it's set up for operation. But essentially, if you can come in real close, Kev, what we have here, very, very easy operation with this console. There is a floor plan, floor map of all of the lights that you have. You have the ability to adjust. All 10 of the lights that we already have in the studio are on here set up as well. And so all you have to do in order to operate, it's touch screen. So you just push on the 5 lights we already have on the left-hand side of the studio. The 5 that you've touched will light up here, and you just use the faders to bring them up. And as you bring them up, the lights in the studio, and you could pan over, Kevin, just show them the lights in the studio panning. And so you can use the faders to bring them up and down.
This operation we did not have as easily before. Now that we've got our console, we have the ability to manipulate the dimming of these lights. In addition to that, in addition to using this console for the existing lights we've got, we also have these brand new spotlights that we talked about. We have 4 of them. Our plan is to put them in the back of the studio, facing the 2 sets, 2 on each side. And these spotlights are great because they have the ability to manipulate the pan and the tilt remotely. So instead of getting up on the ladder, climbing up on the ladder and making adjustments to the spotlights, we now have the ability to manipulate them remotely. So again, you get up on your console, you adjust and you use the touch screen to touch the lights that you want to operate. In this case, I'm going to be touching the lights that are located on faders 13 and 14. And you can see here, as soon as you push them with your finger, they will light up on the console. And all you have to do to turn them on is bring up the faders. And as you do that, the lights will turn on. The pan and tilt are located here. You have the ability to adjust the pan and the tilt of these lights and then bring them down to wherever you need. And I've got them linked right now. You can operate them so that they are grouped together, or you can operate them independently. So if you wanted to just operate them independently, you would just select one, and then you can operate this one spotlight independent of the others that are in the group. So having this functionality is going to be very, very helpful for producers in order to adjust their spotlights remotely without having to jump up on the ladder and without having to waste time manipulating a ladder, jumping up the ladder, and having to adjust it manually. In addition to the pan tilt adjustment that we have, there's also colors. So you can also adjust the colors. So click on the color tab, and now you've got a full palette of different colors you can choose from. There are presets for red, yellow, green, blue, you name it, you have the ability to make those adjustments with color. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Obviously, there are more advanced features that are going along with this, but I just wanted to give all of the producers just a quick demo of what they can expect when they come into the studio. We're in the process of hanging these lights and getting the console ready to go for producers, and that should be rolled out within the next month or so. We'll have that ready to go, and so stay tuned for that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Shauna Lynn, and I appreciate the time. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, John and Chris and everybody that has worked to get all that equipment. Hopefully, I'm noticing in the chat box, it sounds like everybody likes all of the new equipment. Yes, they're saying they love the colored spotlights. So, so again, we always try and upgrade our equipment when possible, and thank you to the team for picking out some great new additions to the studio. And also thank you to Chris and John for the live demo of the lights. So it's really great to see the studio and see the new things going in. So thank you for that. I now wanted to turn it over to Cameron to give us some studio updates of what's going on at the NECAT PEG studio. So Cameron?
Hey everybody, it's so good to be here with you tonight. I hate that we couldn't all be together tonight, but the good news is that we're all here now. It's been really cool the last 6 months or so. We've been back in the studio producing television, making things. So I've got to see a lot of you face to face, and I'm looking forward to a time when we all can get back together again. I know everyone else is too. You know, there's just so much just great stuff that's going on right now. You know, John showing off his equipment. I would say if you go to NECAT's Instagram page, there's a great little demo of those lights going off. It's going to throw logos up. I don't know. It's been really cool this year, like working with them on like talking about what do we need? What do we need that we've never had? How do we bring NECAT into the future? And how do we make something different than we've ever made before? You know, Shauna Lynn and John both had kind of mentioned new equipment and, you know, moving forward with the documentary class and like finding all these different ways that we can make new types of television. So What I want to do tonight is highlight some of the stuff that we did last year, just kind of walk you through it, because if you're a NECAT member and maybe you're making your own show, maybe that's all you're seeing. And so you're only getting the view from, the space that you're in. And I want to invite you to watch, the programming that we have across all 3 of our channels all the time, and just kind of see what people are making, because my goal here is always to get people in the room together, working together, and making those things happen. That's why I think this deal with the library is going to be, such a good situation. Sean and Lynn mentioned before, it's been a pretty seamless transition so far. Lee and Kent both have been great working through this and just trying to really feel out what has been working and like what could we be doing better. And that's always our goal. So let's walk through some of this and you just kind of hit the highlights. And again, like if you have questions or if you have comments or anything else, drop them in the chat right now. Before I get into this, I'll also say, I want to thank the NECAT board this past year, just for being so supportive and getting you guys back in the studio and getting us working again. It was, like moving heaven and earth after being closed for 15 months to get us back on television, and there was a lot of hard decisions that had to get made to get us to this point and, move us forward. So I think everything that's happening after tonight is just going to be incredible. And we want you to be a part of that. So, chime in, let us know. Stop by the studio at some point. Tell us what you want. And if you ever see anything that you're just like, hey, I really want to do this, just come have a conversation, because we're here to build these things. We want to build it together with you. But this last year, one of our, the big things that happened for us was the Dugas Family Foundation bestowed a $50,000 grant for the We Foster Film Program. And that's our ongoing community outreach platform. So during the first half of the year, while we were still shuttered, we started hosting panel discussions with filmmakers about the process. And as we continue into 2022, we're going to continue to host these panel discussions and demonstrations, just highlighting different fields that make up the film and television industry. This includes things like screenwriting, makeup effects, drone piloting, broadcast journalism, all those different kind of things. It'll be a mixture of both live in studio events and a lot of online broadcasts, kind of like this one, where you'll get to have some face-to-face time with some professionals in the industry and kind of see how they do it, how they put those things together, as well as come into the studio and get some hands-on training for people that are into that. We've already added, classes for the first 6 months of the year for our production class. So this is what I would tell you. Like if you're a longtime NECAT member and it's like you've been making your show, come in and take the class again. Okay, get a fresh feel. All this brand new equipment that you're just seeing now for the first time, we've integrated all this stuff into those classes. So it's a good time to just kind of get in, put your hands on it, and just see how it all kind of fits in. See what you can do to spruce your show up a little bit, and maybe think of some different ways, that we could do that. One of the first things we did right when we got back in the studio from the pandemic, to kind of show off this new equipment that we had, was to do a live broadcast from a different place, basically. So for the first time, we had the live Juneteenth celebration, and we were the first station, as far as we can tell, to broadcast any Juneteenth fireworks, here in America. We did that all live from Fort Negley. So basically, they were down there filming that, shooting it back over here to us at the station. We were broadcasting it out to our channels and out to the web. And I think that's just a really cool situation, because as we move forward, we're going to be able to make shows in other places that aren't necessarily always in the studio space. We can use the studio to simulcast from all over the place. And that's just an incredible feat that we couldn't have done a couple of years ago with a whole lot more just wiring and all the different things that kind of go with that. So we're just really proud over here to be a part of that, to be a part of the Juneteenth celebration, and to get to be the first to do that. We hope to continue to do that throughout the years. We also did our Nashville Predators Fall TV camp. We hosted a dozen local Nashville middle school and high school students for a week-long training camp, and that was all sponsored by the Nashville Predators Foundation. We had a lot of members who volunteered to come down, be a part of that, just kind of chaperone or, take care of some things when it comes to taking care of the kids. 5 Points Pizza dropped off some pizzas for us. It just was a really cool event, and those kids got a first, touch. These are the people that are going to be making the TV of the future, and it's kind of cool to see what they're watching and kind of what they're into. It helps us kind of, change how we approach television. We partnered with Sister Cities for a discussion panel with filmmaker Tato Moreno and his film Ario. Their organization brings artistic expression from other parts of the globe right here to Nashville by connecting the world locally. We're looking forward to hosting them again in the near future. I think our next event there should be news coming out in a couple weeks that's going to happen in March. So we hope that you all will come out for that when the time comes. Outside of here, this is another great example of just new ways of making television. For the longest time, when you made a public access show, everybody wanted it to be exactly a half an hour and to fit into this box. And what I kind of saw when I got here was like, we have so many different ways of making TV and sharing people's voices, we want to give you room to do things in a different kind of way. So, I welcome all of you. If you have an idea, bring it to me so I can take it to the board and take it to the library at this point and kind of see what can we do to help that along. But outside of here was a 12-hour live production that we made here at NECAT. We basically had actors from, here in Nashville. They came together in our studio. They built a set the same way that they would in a regular theater. And we did a 12-hour broadcast from here to the studio. It started at 10 in the morning, went till 10 o'clock at night. We never broke. So that means that our entire staff was here helping things happen, moving in the building, keeping everything safe when it comes to the COVID protocols. There was 36 actors all together, another, half a dozen people working on the crew, just, making that all happen. It's available to watch on the web at this point. Obviously, when we make something that's 12 hours long, it doesn't get a lot of rebroadcast on TV, but it was a really cool thing to be a part of. It actually just won the First Night Award for Outstanding Theatrical Events for last year, so we were really proud of that. And it's one of those things I welcome you just to take a look and watch 15 minutes of it and see how it kind of all got put together. It was just pretty incredible. NECAT remains dedicated to the musical artists and new approaches. Right here in Music City, we have so many great musicians, and we want to make sure that in addition to our daily broadcast of new music videos from local and national acts, that we're shining lights on, all kinds of different things. We partnered with Atlantic Records recording artist Briston Maroney for the world premiere of his visual album, Sunflower. Now, this was a long-form version of his album set to visual media. Nashville was the first place they got to see it. A day before the record came out, they broadcast it, out to everyone in town. There was a lot of great write-ups on it. It was just a really cool thing to be a part of. And again, I think it just kind of shows the experience of you can make something different than just, a basic half-hour talk show. If you come to us with something that makes sense, we're going to find a place to put that out there. Briston's from Nashville, it's like he watched NECAT, and it's like someone from his camp just kind of let us know that they liked what they were seeing when it came to music videos and things like that. We made room for him to be here and be a part of that. We also continue to partner with local nonprofits. During the pandemic, we started a show called Feel Good Friday, and last year we did our second season. During the second season, we had 18 episodes that all featured different local nonprofits. These included places like Gideon's Army, Urban Green, TPAC, Legal Aid Society, Dismas House, Nashville Jazz Workshop, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Middle Tennessee, and the Nashville Ballet, just to name a few. It was a really, really cool experience. Every Friday we get together with people from different nonprofits. We let them talk about their organizations. We let them teach us how they're serving the community and how we can be a part of that. It was a really cool thing that the board got together on early on in the pandemic and said, how can we be making stuff from home that could feature these people? And we saw just so much just so much more interaction from different people and just how to get those voices out. I think what public access does is it gives you a place to amplify great things. And, I've been really proud to be part of Feel Good Friday and just, put that messaging out there. So if you've got a nonprofit that you work with or that you think that we should be highlighting, reach out to me, reach out to Shauna Lynn, let us know and say, we'll make a point to get in touch with them and get them on the show. The Nashville Stand-Up Comedy Showcase. This was a new show that came up from producer Chad Ryden, who I think is in the chat right now. So shout out to Chad if you're out there. He came to us and, he has a nonprofit called NashvilleStandup.com where they teach people how to be stand-up comics. What we've kind of been able to do here at the studio is bring people in and do a live stand-up show for the last 4 months, basically the last weekend of the month on Saturday night. We came in and did a live show and we taped it. And so you have people in the audience that are getting a chance to laugh and have a good time. And we're taking those comics and putting them up, on television, sometimes for the first time, to let them get that first experience. And hopefully those tapes go out to other places and, puts them into bigger, better spots. Again, it was just a different kind of show, something that we hadn't been doing, a lot before. But the cool thing about it, Chad, got a lot of these comedians together. They actually went through, took classes. So for that first group of people, not only did we get this great stand-up show that's getting put together, but all these different producers now are developing things like sitcoms and, stand-up showcases and talk shows and all these different things that are going to turn into all this different programming. And so, we think it's important right now, rather than always just saying like, hey, tell your one friend or another friend how to get, together, make TV. We're trying to get groups of people together, people that kind of have a common interest, putting them together in a space where they can create together and give them, the opportunity to just kind of make things go. this is a really good example of that. We're airing this on NECAT right now, so you can watch it, and there's new episodes coming pretty soon. I think Chad could probably tell you in the chat when the next one's coming out, because he's putting the last one together right now, I think. So we've got one at the end of the month. If anybody wants to come out, wear your mask, and we'd love to see you. So we also want to shout out to Larry Underwood, who a lot of you guys know better as Dr. Gangrene. Dr. Gangrene, during the pandemic, he crossed 20 years on TV here in Nashville, which is an amazing feat. To celebrate, NECAT ran a Halloween weekend marathon of a lot of his shows, new and old. I think this was a great thing to highlight, just because it showed that first year and how green he was and how rough it was. But you could also see 20 years later how much better he got at making television. It's one of those things, like it's pretty awesome to see, and a lot of that stuff is streaming on our website, necatnetwork.org. You kind of see, like, if you stick with this, and I tell people this all the time, but your first day of making television won't be your best one unless it's your only one. So we want you to keep coming back and making new shows with us. And it was just a really cool thing to see, kind of all together in one big space. We want to kind of shout out some of the other shows that have been, making stuff. Spiritual Awakening 101 continued to take monthly shows all through the pandemic and turn things in, and they've continued to do that even through. There's a lot of people that still aren't ready to come back to the studio. We totally understand that. When you're making things from home, whether it be through platforms like this one, we want to find ways to get you on the air. To have these conversations, to put you in a place where you can still get your voice out there. So if you want to make something, but you're not quite ready to come back to the studio, that's okay. Give me a phone call here at the studio. Let's talk about how we can get you on the air with some new, programs. We again, like, new shows that came out this year: Heartland Liberty, Counselor Toolbox, Cooking with Big Fella, Community Conversation with Jim Schulman, Girl Boss Next Door, and we especially wanted to point out Bishop Paul Jones, who, and again, reminding you that the studio was only open for 6 months out of the year. He taped 34 new episodes of his show House of Bread here at the studio. And that's something we want to point out the dedication. He's been here just about weekly, knocking out a couple shows and keeping those on the air, brand new every week. So again, if you're ready to come back to the studio, let me know and say, we'll find ways to do that. The studio is starting to look a little bit different. If you haven't been in a while, in addition to the new equipment, this right before Christmas, they came in and they pulled out all of the old artwork that had been here for a while. We were really happy with Arthur Kirby and everything that he's done to kind of help highlight the studio and put color into it. But he was looking to bring some stuff out, and we were looking for a different look. So we're going to be hanging some new artwork. But one of the things I want to point out to that is, if you have a show here and you have a poster for your show, we want you to bring it by the studio and give it to us so we can hang it up, because we want to feature our producers. We want to show off the shows that you're making. So we want to make a point to say, if you have key art, print a poster out, bring it to us, and we'll get it hung up here in the studio, because we want all of you to kind of see what other people are making, so you can kind of look at it and go, hey, I'd watch that show, and, talk to each other about, kind of what's going on with that. So we're looking forward to seeing all of the new content from all of our producers as we move into 2022. We're excited about everything that you're making, both in the studio and outside of the studio. We're hoping that this new equipment that we have, coming in, you'll be able to check it out, go out, do, talk to people, out on the streets that are here in Nashville, really highlight the town and bring it back and put it on public access. We're really excited about the Nashville Public Library and all the great stuff they're doing with their NPO Universe productions. And we're going to have that here, all the time. So if you're tuning into channels 9, 10, or 19 on Comcast, you're going to see a lot of great new stuff this year. And we encourage you all to watch it. And again, if there's ever anything that I can do, just reach out to me by phone, by email, come by the studio, say hello. We want to help you get things made on TV. So sign up for a class, get your friends signed up for a class. Let's get this stuff done. And Charlene, back to you.
Thank you, Cameron. Thanks for that studio update. I know I've seen a couple of people interacting in the chat feature. We did want to move to the Q&A portion, so if you do have questions, please put those in the Q&A or the chat feature, and we'll spend some time answering those. Cameron, one question we did have there been any improvements to the handicapped access to the building? The inability to get parking or transport closer to the building has become a roadblock for our producer after the college stopped allowing us, people to drive up. Is that maybe something we could reach out to Nashville State and have a conversation with them of how do we make those handicapped access to our building a little bit better?
Absolutely. And again, John May can speak to this, but I know that, since I have been here, which I'm going into year 3 at this point, being on board, I've got to talk to some of the security guards, and, their biggest worry all the time was safety concerns. We want to make sure that no one was going to hit a student, with a car, and also that they weren't leaving any oil stains on the concrete whenever it gets parked there. I know just today, John was able to pull up and unload some equipment. It really is just a matter of making a phone call and letting them know what you want to do. When it comes to handicap access and things like that, they're very open to this idea. There still are some rules in place as far as being able to unload, move the car, things like that. But they're open to the idea. A lot of times it just has to, it needs to be a thing that you plan ahead for more than anything else. So if you show up on the day of and we can't get a hold of security, we can't grant access to that. It has to be through security. But usually if you let me know a day or two ahead, hey, I need this access because we're going to be doing these things, we can help call and get that scheduled. We can give you the phone number so you can let them know when you're actually entering campus and make those things happen. But Nashville State's been a really good partner with us to kind of allow for that to happen. This building has been here now going on 20 years, and I know there's some talk in the next couple of years we may be building something brand new, which I think everyone is looking forward to, whatever that may end up being. But in the meantime, it's like we want to continue to partner with them and do good things. I will say this too: if you're ever having specifically a problem with handicap access, please let us know what we could be doing to do better. We try our best to roll out the red carpet, whenever people ask for it, and make sure that we have space for that kind of thing. And we don't want to be blind. So if there's something that we're not doing, let me know. That way I can point it out to the staff here in the building and to the board about how we can get things corrected. And, like I say, I'm always here to listen. So shoot me an email or call me on the phone and just let me know what we can do. And John, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So I, like you said, just pulled up today, and what I've been told by security, and I think what we've been sort of going by as far as our team, is when we need to pull up on campus for whatever reason, we just need to call campus security. And so I'm going to post their number in the chat. It's actually, I can just tell you right now, 615-353-3273. And I called them today and just let them know that I was going to be pulling up on the campus and driving up to the building. There are some barricades that they do place right at the driveway area. I think normally what I usually do is some of them are not locked down to the ground, and you can actually move them. And so they ask that when you move them, just to move them back to the place that they were. And then what they don't want you to do is just keep your car there. So if at all possible, once you move your car or once you get the equipment or whatever you're needing to do, move your car to the designated parking spaces. Now sometimes that's not possible if you are unable to walk or unable to actually walk from the designated parking spots. And so in that case, I'm sure they would make an exception. But for the most part, they want you to move your car after you are done unloading or loading your car. And that's just the experience that we've had.
Thank you, Cameron and John. So I would say to the person who asked that, maybe when you call with Cameron and when you're thinking about booking the studio, give him a call and we can start that conversation and go ahead and plan for that, and definitely work with you on that. Other questions or comments? I'm not seeing any, but as people are typing, maybe I'll give it just a minute or two. I will say thank you to all of our presenters tonight. We were really hoping to be in studio so we could see everybody, but then pivoting to WebEx. So thank you to the NECAT board, the Nashville Public Library, Keith, and Metro ITS, John and Chris, and also Kevin for setting up the WebEx. We all pivoted very quickly to this digital virtual format. So this was all great. Somebody saying thank you to everybody for your hard work on this platform. Very appreciated. We're great that everybody could join us. Thankful that everybody could join us. We look forward to all of the new opportunities and all the new things we mentioned for 2022. There's more to come on that. So we'll keep you updated on that. One question we have here, would Nashville Public Library support any kid shows created through NECAT? If so, what kind of resources would be available? Ashley, I would say it might be good to reach out to Cameron and we can kind of talk through some of those details. There's going to be lots of possibilities with our partnership with the library, and Kent and Lee, I know we're going to have more talks on that, so we'll have more information as that transition goes on. But definitely shows and that kind of thing, I would definitely reach out to Cameron and he can get some more details and run point on those things for us for the NECAT side of things.
Yeah, and Shauna, and I was, I would speak to that and only say that, the reason that I think this partnership with the library makes sense is it does open so many doors. They're already partnering with so many great authors for different events that they've been doing. I have no doubt that this is going to open some new doors. We don't exactly know all the details of that just yet and what that's going to mean as we when it talks about licensing and things like that. But there are definitely going to be some avenues that we're going to be able to go down that we probably couldn't have been able to do by ourselves before this happened. So I would say just stay tuned, as they say on television. We'll be rolling out new information as we get it. I'm sure that Lee and Kent both will have some new information for everybody as they kind of come in and we just, get all this stuff mashed together and start working it out. So again, it's exciting time. So again, like Sean said, reach out to me, come by, let's talk about what you want to do. Like that way, if you tell me what you want to do, we can bring it up and kind of say, hey, this is what the producers want. And, our hope is to always try and find ways to get that done for you.
Let's see, another question here. Do we have pro licenses now for the public access TV, or are we required to always have permissions to use the material for free?
So our licensing is still the same as it was as far as, we still have all the paperwork requirements that we've had before. We have tried to turn that into more of a digital situation through the pandemic where you can fill that out and turn it all in. When it comes to fair use and things like that, it really is just a conversation. There are certain things that you can do, but when it comes to licensed music and licensed content, everything still applies, to that. We're always looking for better ways. I do think as everything has gone more digital and to the web, it's easier to find ways to get through those things and find access, and also to give alternatives whenever if you come to me and say, hey, I want to use a Led Zeppelin song, I may say no, but we do have access to the Warner Chapel Library, and I can say, hey, maybe check out something there that maybe will fit in the same way to give off the same kind of context that you're looking for. So I don't exactly know when it comes to pro licenses what you mean. If you can define that better for me, maybe if you give me a phone call, we can try to work through that. And again, let me know what you're trying to do, and I'll let you know if it's something we can make happen.
We have a request for more Zeppelin. So another question: where is NECAT broadcast, and do they put our content on YouTube? So what? I think the question is, what are broadcast channels and where all is it going and what platforms?
So here in Nashville, the best way to find us is on Comcast on channels 9, 10, and 19. That is for, the Arts Channel, IQTV, which is our education channel, and then Nashville 19 Public Access. We're also in AT&T Universe. If you go to channel 100 in the drop-down menu, you can select us from there. If you have cut the cord already, you can find us on Roku. If you have a Roku box, you can search NECAT, download the NECAT app right there, and stream all 3 channels, through that device there. As far as YouTube content goes, we do upload some of our content. So a lot of times whenever you upload your show, there's a box that you can check to let us know if you want it to run online or not. And if so, there's 2 separate YouTube channels. There's a NECAT Network channel and a Access 19 channel, and it usually goes up to one of those 2 places if requested. A lot of times if you don't request it, we don't put it up because like with everything else that you make here, it always has to run on NECAT Network, but you own your content. So once you make it here, you can take that same thing you've made and you can upload it to your own separate YouTube channel if you want to. That's something we've always allowed. and we want to make sure that you're able to do that. But the great thing about having space, right now is we've already got people that are logged on, subscribed to our channels. So if you go to YouTube and you search NECAT Network, you can find a lot of these shows that we've talked about tonight. Feel Good Friday is up. I know I talked about Bishop Paul Jones and his show. We've been uploading, all the shows he did this year. So if you want it on the air, or want it online and don't have an avenue for that yourself, just reach out to me and we'll get it on there for you.
Other questions? I don't see any more, Cameron. John or Chris, do you all see any? Did I miss any? Don't think I did.
I do not see any additional questions.
Okay. Or one more that says, can you help with a live broadcast?
So yes, again, our ongoing goal is to train people how to make television here in Nashville and to get that stuff on the air. We want to teach you how to do it, but we're always here to help. Because one of the goals that I have all the time is to partner people together who make sense. Just this week I had someone reach out to me. They want to do a live show that's off campus. Basically, we're trying to find other NECAT members who can go out with them and help make that stuff. When it comes to having this equipment that John had talked about earlier that we just purchased, you're going to be able to check that out for 7 days at a time. Take it out and make things once you've gone through the training, and bring that back to us as a finished product and for us to put it on the air. So we can help with the live broadcast. We can teach you how to do it. I know all of the staff from ITS has been really great as far as trying to be hands-on and teaching people how to do stuff and kind of help troubleshoot any anything that you might have to ask. So we're here to help. I mean, that's the big thing. I think everybody that is on this chat, if you're looking at them in the face, the reason they're here tonight at 6 o'clock is to make sure that you're getting the help that you need. They all care about you and want to see you make great television. So just let us, again, best thing to do if you want something to happen is come by and let us know what you want to happen, and then I will take it to the board and figure out a way that we can try to make that go.
Cameron, it looks like everybody likes that idea. So lots of thank yous in the chat, and thanks for everything that everybody's doing and for all of the exciting updates. Somebody says, see you tomorrow. So I think they're coming by in the studio. So again, thank you all for the presenters and also for our producers. Again, I know I said that at the top when we got started, but I really do mean that. Thank you to everybody out in the community, making things, putting them on our channels and on our platforms. Without you, we all wouldn't be here. And as Cameron said, we all have a passion about this and supporting you. So thank you for all that you do as well. And hopefully this was all great information. Again, if you have ideas or questions or comments, reach out to Cameron or myself or anybody on the board. We're always accessible and happy to sit down and talk and that kind of thing. So thank you all. Everybody have a great night. We will look forward to giving you updates as we transition and more exciting opportunities for NECAT and the Nashville Public Library. So thank you all. Have a good night.